This ESPN 97.5 and ESPN 97.5.com podcast is presented by Bud Light. Here we go.
And, of course, the big game that everybody's talking about here in Houston, your Houston Texans taking on the Cleveland Browns. And to get a little look on the inside of the Cleveland Browns, we're being joined right now by Ryan Lencl from 970 ESPN in Cleveland. Ryan, good morning, sir. Thanks for joining us. How are you?
Well, I'm better than Peyton Hillis is.
Yeah, yeah, aren't you, though? And that's funny. That takes me to my first question. I read this morning that the Browns are considering putting Peyton Hillis on season-ending IR. Is this true? And if so, I mean, what does this put the Cleveland Browns in their offense position?
Well, I definitely think that it's possible. You know how hamstrings tend to be a lingering injury that kind of drag on throughout the course of the year. And I think that they're kind of fed up with the melodrama that's been playing out over the course of the season. If it is true, and if that is the case, well, it's going to continue to be the type of season it's been so far, which is one of very little offensive production and a very vanilla offense. It's probably not going to equal very many wins as we go down the stretch.
Well, hey, Ryan, thanks for coming on the show with us. What happened with this Peyton Hillis situation? Last year, he was everyone's favorite player up there in Cleveland. You vote him on the cover of Madden, and then all of a sudden he gets sick, and then the hamstring thing. What's the opinion of the fans there? They've really lost their love with this guy.
Well, I think a lot of fans have turned on him and also on the Browns in general. There's a lot of talk about Pat Shurmur and whether or not he was the right decision because he, of course, this is his first shot as a head coach. But the thing about Hillis, you're right about that. You're talking about a guy who's from, got this Arkansas college career where, big muscular guy, smash mouth football, square jawed, country boy. I mean, he could have fit perfect in Cleveland, and he could have been a guy who they'd have built a statue for. And it just spiraled out of control very quickly. I think that when they didn't address the contract early in the season, I think it hurt his confidence. I think he got distracted by the whole process. And I think it just has slowly kind of eroded from there. And now we've got this disaster on our hands, both from a football standpoint and a PR standpoint.
Well, since Peyton Hillis is out, you guys are going to be starting Chris Ogbonnaya, who was just on the Texans roster not too long ago.
One of our favorites.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if you know this, Ryan, but Chris Ogbonnaya already has a nickname. Has his nickname surfaced in Cleveland yet?
Not yet, no.
Okay, Chris Ogbonnaya spelled with an O-G. Okay, the G is silent, so his nickname is the Silent G. Now, do you see the Silent G making any noise today in his first NFL start?
Well, I've seen him a little bit. He obviously is new to our team. The thing that's more shocking to me than that is I don't know how you guys have so many running backs. You guys are cutting Steve Slayton and letting Ogbonnaya go, and he immediately starts with another. I mean, you guys just have an embarrassment of riches down there at running back. But you know what? I don't think this guy has much of a fair chance simply because the offensive line is piecemeal. It's been a mess. The right side of the line's been a mess for several years, ever since really the retirement of Ryan Tucker. And, when we lost Eric Steinbach on the left side at the beginning of the season, that weakened that side. So really you're down to Alex Mack and Joe Thomas, who's not having a great year by his standards anyway. I don't really know what you can do. I'm a firm believer in building from the lines out, and our offensive line is just not very good right now.
Ryan Lencl from 970 ESPN in Cleveland is our guest here in Houston Game Day. So let's talk a little bit more about the offense and a guy that is, quite a fan favorite around here, Colt McCoy. And there's been a little talk that he may be auditioning for his job next year still. Is that really the feeling in Cleveland?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are wondering about that. For me personally, I'm taking a step back on this whole thing, and I'm going, Mike Holmgren's now in, his third year. Tom Heckert's been here a couple years is all. And then they bring in a first-time head coach in Shurmur. You work your way down there. You got a quarterback who's really in all real terms a rookie in his first full season. And like I said, a new offense, a new defense, a new defensive coordinator. What can we really expect? We have to give these guys some time to let this play out. I honestly have to tell you, I think fans here are growing impatient, and I think that if he doesn't finish the season strong, they're going to look elsewhere. There's been a lot of talk and a lot of concern about Colt McCoy's tangibles. Now, nobody questions his intangibles. He comes from a great pedigree. But the reality of the fact is the guy has trouble making the long throws to the sidelines. He's a little short and has trouble seeing over the line, doesn't have a big arm. And those questions are starting to pop up quite frequently now about what his future can be potential-wise.
Not to mention, he also he is not really maturing much in the face. I know that's not a big deal, but he still looks like one of those kids from the Sunny D ads.
He does. He looks like he's 16 years old. People always talk about that. He looks, how old is that kid? How old is that kid? I said, well, now he's a little older. He's in his mid-20s almost. But, yeah, and the problem, too, with that, like I said, is as you continue to develop as a quarterback, you obviously learn a lot more about how to break defenses down, coverages. You learn how to read the field better. But the reality is I don't think there's a proven track record of guys' arms getting a lot stronger after they enter the league. And that seems to be one of the biggest concerns for McCoy.
Well, I know he's probably going to have more people rooting for him here because of his UT ties than he does back in Cleveland. So that'll be an interesting game to see how he performs with that. Now, what we like to do, Ryan, every time we have one of our guests come on, we like to press the issue a little bit and get your prediction for today's score. What do you think is going to happen?
The truth is, I really, really worry when the Browns play dynamic players offensively. Whenever they have a big-time difference maker, no matter whether it be at quarterback, wide receiver, running back, I'm always afraid of that because we kind of lack the big playmakers on defense. And my honest feeling is I think Foster's probably going to have a big day. We're not particularly good against the run anyway. You folks are, like I said, very good. I think 5th in the league in rushing. I like this thing to probably be something like 27-13 Houston, 24-13 Houston.
All right. Well, that would hit the under still, so I like that.
For entertainment purposes only.
That's right. All right, Ryan. Thanks so much for your time this morning. Enjoy the games today. We'll hopefully get to talk to you down the road.
Absolutely. Take care.
Thanks. Ryan Lencl from 970 ESPN in Cleveland. Right there was our guest.